Here we look at the vowel chart. This is a simplified vowel chart of the Masoretic vowel pointing that was added to the consonantal text. This is my handout that I developed for my students. It is a simplified vowel chart, and it doesn't really tell the whole story. In a later chapter, we will tweak this vowel chart so that it reflects what appears to be the more historical way of thinking of the vowels. But at least this is helpful as a first pass for students to be able to understand the Hebrew vowels and at least be able to identify the sounds as well as the names of the vowels and where they go in terms of their placement with respect to the consonants. We're going to use the consonant bet, the b sound, as our placeholder because Hebrew vowels don't exist in isolation. Just as in English, we can start words and syllables with vowels, like the word about, A-B-O-U-T. That starts with a vowel. A syllable can start with a vowel in English. In Hebrew, they cannot. And so, whenever a Hebrew vowel is written, there will always have to be some Hebrew consonant that leads the syllable that precedes the vowel. And that's why we need a placeholder consonant, and we're just going to choose the letter bet here so that we can always pronounce these vowels in proper syllables, and you can see where those vowels go. We have on the left side of our screen, we have the sound quality A, E, I, O, or U type of vowels, just as we have in English. And then over here, moving to the left, in our first row, the heading, we have tone short, tone long, and historically long. This refers to, at least the first two columns here, refer to the short versus the long phenomenon of vowels. For example, in English, we have a couple of I vowels, some shorter or less tense, and others longer or more tense. So think of I versus I or E. Those are more tense or longer I vowels. Now here, in Hebrew, it's going to be hard for us to distinguish sometimes between some of these vowel sounds. So we'll do our best, but don't be discouraged if sometimes it's a little bit difficult to tell the difference between, say, this A vowel and that A vowel, or between this A vowel and the historically long one. These first two columns, though, are dealing with tone. Historically long means that there is a mater involved in the vowel pointing. Okay, so let's start with the short vowels, or the tone short vowels. These vowels are called, respectively, pathak, segol, kirik, kametz chatuf, and kibbutz. They are placed directly under the consonant with which they are found. So if I were to use another consonant, say lamed, of course the pathak would go right underneath. If I put the segol under a lamed, it would go right underneath. The kirik would also go right underneath, as would the kametz chatuf. So it doesn't matter which consonant we're using, it's still going to go right below. The vowels will go right below the consonant. So these are representing the following vowels. Pathak represents a short A. So we might pronounce this as ba, ba. Consonant sound first, followed by the vowel. Ba, ba. And the vowel is called pathach. It is transliterated as a simple A with no markings. So you'll notice here that all of the short vowels are transliterated into English with just the typical English vowel and no markings. When those vowels are long, then they will receive the line above them called the macron. The next vowel is called segol, segol, and it has an eh sound, eh, segol, eh. Put it under the bet, and it's be, be. So repeat after me. Ba, be. Pathak, segol. The third short vowel is called a kirik, and it's a single dot underneath the bet. Kirik sounds like I, with the bet, be, be, be. The next one is a short O. It's called kametz katuf, kametz katuf, and it sounds like O, O, with the bet, bo, bo. And then finally, kibbutz is the name of the U vowel that's short, and it consists of 3 dots in descending order, as it were, going down a diagonal. And this is pronounced b, b, b. Now, in the second column, we have the tone long vowels, and there are actually only 3. The A, the E, and the O vowels. There is no tone long I or U vowel. So we only have 3 to memorize, but you have to know which ones don't get one. The first one is called kametz, and it looks strangely like this vowel, kametz katuf. They both are the exact same symbol. This is a long A though, and it's pronounced ah, ah, and with the bet, ba. Now you might be saying, well, that sounds like this pathak over here. True enough, but we will pronounce this, hold it shorter. Ba, 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 ba. Some people pronounce this ba, the pathak, as an ah sound. I learned to pronounce it as an ah sound, but I don't hold it as long as I hold a long kametz. Ba. The next vowel is called tsere, tsere, and it's 2 dots underneath, and it's pronounced a, as in hey, you, a, or the Canadian sound, a. So this would be pronounced with the bet, bay, bay. So ba, kametz, transliterated as an A with a macron, bay with a serre, and E with a macron. And then the final tone long is not written below, but above and to the left of the consonant, and it is a single dot. This is called holum, holum, transliterated as an O with a macron to distinguish it from the short O here, over here, and it is pronounced O, O, with the bet, bo, bo. And again, you might be saying, well, it sounds like this short O over here. True enough. But again, we will pronounce this with less muscular stress. Hold it shorter. Bo, bo, bo. Long, bo. And then finally, when we come to the historically long chart, we have our bet consonant, and then following the bet is the mater, accompanied by the vowel point that the Masoretes put along with the mater. So to think of it another way, when the Masoretes came to a word that was marked with a hey marking a vowel, what they did was they said, hey, pardon the pun, hey, that's a bet with a long A after it. And so we're going to put our tone long A vowel point, this kametz symbol, right underneath the bet. We're going to leave the mater hey there, and the comets and the hey together now will form a compound vowel marking to go with the bet. So what we have here is one consonant, bet, followed by one vowel called comets hey. The vowel is not just comets, and it's not just hey. It is the vowel comets hey, comets hey. And it is represented in transliteration with an A and what I like to call the pointy party hat. The more people, the merrier as far as parties go. So here the vowel point doesn't just stand alone, but it's got the mater with it. And this is a pointy party hat. The pointy hat indicates that we're looking at a historically long A. Not just an A that's long by tone, but an A that's long historically, meaning that historically before the Massoretes, the scribes that introduced the matris lectionis system indicated that this was a long vowel. It's a historically long A. So, how do we pronounce this? Well, strangely enough, we pronounce it exactly the same way as we do the tone long A. This was ba, and this is ba. I want you to notice that you will not pronounce the hey. The hey is silent. It's only marking a vowel sound. So don't pronounce it like a consonant, because the hey here is not a consonant. A mater is not a consonant. A mater is always a vowel. Now the next historically long vowel is not merely sere, and it's not merely yod. It's called sere yod. It is the combination of the mater yod and the sere that the Massoretes added. It is transliterated in English as an E with the pointy party hat, and this is pronounced exactly like the sere in the tone long system. Bay, bay. So a, with the bets, ba, bay. Now, over here we had a short Keurig. We had no tone long I vowel, but we do have a historically long I vowel, and it is called Keurig yod. Not just Keurig and not just yod, but a combination together. Keurig yod forms one vowel. The I with the pointy hat, that is how you represent this. It's pronounced, the vowel is pronounced E, and with the bet, B, B. The next one is the holum vav. Holum vav. This is, strangely enough, a holum with a vav below it. Very original. It makes a long O sound, represented in English transliteration as an O with the party hat, and it sounds like the tone long holum. It's O. So pronounce this bo on the tone long side, historically long, bo, same, bo, bo. You don't pronounce them any differently. It's just that this one happens to have the mater written with it. And then finally, we have kibbutz as our tone short U, b, b, and we have a shurik for our our historically long U vowel. Shurik is pronounced oo, oo, oo. Add the bet in front of it, it's boo, boo. And that's a U with the party hat. Notice that even though we have hey, yod, and vav making up our letters here, none of the English transliterations have a hey, yod, or vav. Why? Because the hey, yods, and vavs are not consonants. They are maters. They are matris lectionis. And so they're not really consonants at all. They're not functioning as consonants. They are functioning as vowels. So I have one consonant and one vowel in all of these combinations here. To maybe put it another way, if I were to transliterate all of these, they would be ba, Be, be, bo, boo. Notice that I have one consonant, bet, followed by one vowel, the historically long vowels. So the kamete functions together as a unit. It is its own vowel, not a vowel and a consonant. All right. You need to memorize this simplified vowel chart according to this second chart without the names written, but you should learn the names. So let me have you repeat after me, reading the tone short and reading down. Ba, be, bo, bu. Tone longs. Ba, be, bo. Historically long. Ba, be. Don't pronounce that H, by the way. Ba, be, bo, boo. The names of the vowels. Pathach. Repeat. Pathach. Segol. Kirik. Kametz Katuf. Kibbutz. Ba. That's the Kametz. Sere. Cholam. And then Kamete, Seriod, Kirikyod, Holambav, Shurik. All right. You might be wondering, just thinking about this now, if this symbol right here represents both a short O and a long A, how will you be able to tell the difference? That's a good question, and we're going to answer that in a few chapters. The important thing to know right now is that whenever you see this thing that looks like a little T under a consonant, almost always it represents a long A, a tone long A. It's either going to have a hey after it and be the mater kametze, or it'll be just a tone long A. Then sometimes it does represent a short O, but not as frequently as it represents the A vowel. So for now, when you come across this vowel symbol that looks like a T, you should assume that it is a long A, unless you're told otherwise. And then in a subsequent chapter, very soon, we'll give you some rules for knowing how to tell the difference. The last thing we need to mention at this point before we talk about syllables is the matter of defective versus full spelling. Let me go back over here and jot down this word right here. And then I will write down this word. These are actually the same word. This is the word Ruth in Hebrew. As I mentioned, before the Masoretes came, there were scribes that inserted consonant letters to mark vowels. Vav was one of those. Remember, those were called matras lectionis. Vav is a mater. So the Masoretes received the text where at times they might have had the mater inserted for the word Ruth, and then at other times maybe the Vav was missing, but it was still pronounced Ruth. Ruth, Ruth. When the Masoretes wanted to add their vowel points, they came to the historically long Vav marking a U vowel. What did they do? They added a dot here, and that created this vowel, Shurik. And so it became clear you pronounce this Ruth, Ruth. When they came to a spelling of Ruth that did not have the Vav already added, they couldn't just add a dot here because they didn't have any such vowel point. What they did was they added kibbutz over there. And this represented the shurik that was normally written, but in this case had to be spelled without the mater. These would both still be pronounced the same way. This kibbutz really stands for a long U, but since there was no mater added, the Masoretes didn't add their own. They just added what they could, and that was the kibbutz from over here. Grammarians refer to the spelling with the mater as full spelling or plene spelling, or we would say it's spelled fully. And then whenever the mater was missing, the grammarians refer to this as defective spelling. Now, I do want to make sure that you understand that when we refer to spelling as full versus defective, we're not talking about errors or problems. What we're simply saying is that some words were spelled one way with the full use of the mater, and others were spelled defectively, meaning they were missing the mater, but they were still pronounced the right way. Let me give you another example. You might have a situation in Hebrew where you had these two words, both of them meaning the same thing, between, but in this case a mater yod was added, and in this case the mater yod wasn't. They're still the same word, they're both pronounced the same way, bain, bain, and when the Masoretes took their consonantal text and added the vowel points to represent that A sound, A, bain, they added the segol, the sere, and left the mater there. When they came to the one that was spelled without the mater, they added the sere, but they did not insert a mater where there wasn't already one there. And so this is still pronounced bain and bain. This one is spelled fully, and the second one was spelled defectively because it was missing the mater. Remember, the maters were not originally in the text anyway. They were added by the scribes in order to help vocalize the text properly.